Raise your hands if you've ever heard this. When I was your age, I already had a job, a house and a family. Now raise your hands if hearing that makes you want to throw your phone into a river. Because for years, Gen Z has been accused of delaying adulthood. Too lazy, too distracted, too obsessed with screens, too committed to situationships, too unwilling to grow up. But what if Gen Z isn't rejecting adulthood? What if adulthood itself has changed? What if the ladder previous generations climbed is no longer standing where it used to? And what if the biggest misunderstanding between generations today is that they're using the same word adulthood to describe two completely different realities? This is the story of what Kian Bakhtiari calls liquid adulthood in an article for Forbes magazine. And it might explain why millions of young people feel stuck between being a child and being an adult at the same exact time. Hi, I'm Nupur and you are watching Control Z, your cheat code to navigating adulthood. Let's start with a question. What made someone an adult in 1985? Not philosophically, practically. Well, the answer was surprisingly simple. Get a stable job, buy a house, get married, have children, stay in roughly the same place and repeat it for 40 years. Whether people liked that model or not, it had something incredibly powerful. A script, a roadmap, a sequence, it was all certain. By 30, you were expected to have reached certain checkpoints. And if you reached them, society rewarded you with a title, adult. But here's the uncomfortable question. What happens when the checkpoints become unreachable? Imagine you're playing a video game, your parents completed level 1, get a degree, find a job, buy a home, build wealth. Now imagine starting the same game. Only this time the price of the house has tripled. The jobs are temporary. Artificial intelligence is threatening entry-level work. And rent consumes half your salary. Would it be fair to compare your score to someone who played a completely different version of that game? That's where many Gen Z frustrations begin. The debate is often framed as a character problem. Maybe young people don't work hard enough. Maybe they're entitled. Maybe they spend too much on coffee. But many economists would argue something else. The economics of adulthood have changed. For many young adults today, home ownership feels less like a milestone and more like a luxury product. The traditional foundations of adulthood haven't disappeared. They have become dramatically more expensive. Now let's address the older generation. Because many parents look at social media and see something very strange. Young people say they can't afford homes, then they spend money on travel, concerts, sneakers, gaming, matcha, lip gloss, subscriptions. So which is it? Are you broke or not? Well, the answer might be both. Think about it this way. If someone tells you that you will probably never afford a castle, do you stop buying lunch? No, you simply adjust your dreams to fit your reality. A generation that cannot access large assets often turns towards smaller pleasures. Not because they are irresponsible, but because human beings still want joy, still want rewards, still want moments that make life feel meaningful. The vacation becomes the thing that replaces the house. The experience replaces the possession. The memory replaces the asset. But money is only half the story. Here's the deeper question. Who tells you who you are? For most of human history, that answer was relatively simple. Your family, your village, your religion, your community, your profession. Often your future was decided long before you arrived. Today, a 22-year-old can reinvent themselves 5 times before breakfast. Student, creator, freelancer, gamer, activist, entrepreneur, influencer, corporate employee, a digital nomad. None of these identities need to be permanent. And while that freedom sounds exciting, it comes with a hidden cost, responsibility. Because if nobody tells you who you are, you must decide for yourself. Older generation often describes Gen Z as anxious, and they are not entirely wrong. But perhaps they misunderstand where that anxiety comes from. Imagine waking up every morning and having to answer questions previous generations rarely had to ask. What career should I choose? Will that career even exist in 10 years? Should I move cities? Should I stay single? Should I leave social media? Should I build a personal brand? Should I start a company? Should I use AI? Will AI replace me? What if I choose wrong? Previous generations faced difficult questions too, but many had institutions helping answer them. Today, the burden increasingly falls on the individual, and that can be exhausting. Now let's talk directly to Gen Z. Maybe you felt guilty for not reaching milestones fast enough. I have. Maybe you've looked at your parents at 30 and thought, I'm nowhere close. But here's something worth considering. You are not too late to a race. You are participating in a different race. But it also means something remarkable. You get to define success yourself. Not entirely. Reality still exists. Bills still exist. Rent definitely exists. But the script is no longer fixed. And perhaps that's the real reason older generations sometimes struggles to understand the younger ones. They see the absence of a script and mistake it for the absence of ambition. Those are not the same things. Maybe adulthood isn't disappearing. Maybe it's becoming harder to recognize. The older version was solid, stable job, stable home, stable identity, stable future. The new version is more fluid. Career changes, cities change, relationship changes, even identities change. That uncertainty can feel frightening. But it may also be the defining challenge of the 21st century. Not learning how to become an adult. Learning how to become an adult in a world where the definition keeps changing. And perhaps the real question isn't why won't Gen Z grow up? Perhaps the question is, what does growing up even mean anymore?